Think your English vocabulary is advanced? 99% of people completely fail to guess the last 5 tricky professions on this test. Let's see if you are a true English master. Your time starts now. 1. I design houses and buildings, ensuring they are both safe and visually appealing. I am an. The noun architect specifically refers to a person who designs buildings and advises on their construction, while an engineer works on structural integrity. The architect creates the spatial design. Constructor is a general term for a builder. 2. And repair vehicles, especially diagnosing and fixing car engines. I am a. A mechanic is a skilled worker who repairs and maintains vehicle engines and other machinery. A machinist operates machine tools to make parts. And a driver operates the vehicle but does not necessarily repair it. 3. I prepare and cook food professionally in a restaurant. I am a. The vocabulary word chef refers to a professional cook, typically the chief cook in a restaurant or hotel. A waiter serves the food to the tables, a barista prepares coffee beverages, and a butcher prepares raw meat for sale. 4. I diagnose illnesses and prescribe medication for patients in a clinic. I am a. A physician is a medical doctor who diagnoses and treats human diseases. A physicist studies physics. A pharmacist dispenses medication, but does not prescribe it, and a physiotherapist treats physical injuries through exercise. 5. I fly passenger airplanes for commercial airlines across the globe. I am a. The noun pilot refers to a person who operates the flying controls of an aircraft. A flight attendant serves passengers in the cabin, while a pilot can hold the rank of captain. Pilot is the specific profession name for flying the aircraft. 6. I cut, style, and color people's hair as my daily occupation. I am a. A hairdresser is a person who cuts and styles hair as an occupation. A tailor works with clothing and fabrics. A beautician performs general cosmetic skin treatments. And a manicurist specifically works on fingernails. 7. I help customers buy products and restock shelves in a retail store. I am a. A shop assistant or sales assistant is an employee whose job is to serve customers in a shop. The consumer is the person buying the goods. A manager oversees the operations of the store. And a janitor cleans the building. 8. I investigate news events and write articles for newspapers and websites. I am a. A journalist is a person who writes for newspapers, magazines, or news websites or prepares news to be broadcast. A novelist writes fiction books. An editor corrects texts. And a publisher distributes the final material. 9. I look after people's teeth and treat oral diseases or cavities. I am a. The noun dentist denotes a person qualified to treat the diseases and conditions that affect the teeth and gums, while an orthodontist is a specific type of dentist. Dentist is the correct general profession. An optician works with eyes and glasses. 10. I deliver letters and packages to residential and business addresses. I am a. A postman or mail carrier is a person employed by a postal service to deliver or collect letters and parcels. A courier typically delivers urgent or special packages. A receptionist greets people in an office, and a porter carries luggage. 11. A person whose job is to translate speech orally from one language to another is an. An interpreter translates spoken language orally in real time, whereas a translator works with written text. A linguist studies languages theoretically, and an announcer speaks on radio or television broadcasts. 12. I am responsible for organizing, analyzing, and managing a company's financial records. I am an. An accountant is a professional who keeps or inspects financial accounts and records. An economist studies macroeconomic systems. An actuary calculates insurance risks. And an auditor verifies accounting records rather than managing them daily. 13. A professional who fits and repairs the pipes and fittings of water supply systems is a. The vocabulary word plumber refers to a tradesperson who installs and repairs piping systems for water and gas. A carpenter works with wood, a mason works with stone or brick, and a welder joins metal parts together using high heat. 14. Someone who dispenses medicines prescribed by doctors in a hospital or shop is a. A pharmacist is professionally qualified to prepare and dispense medicinal drugs directly to patients. A pharmacologist works in a lab to study the effects of drugs. And a physician is the medical doctor who writes the prescription. 15. A person whose profession is acting as an agent in the buying and selling of property is a. A real estate agent facilitates the sale and purchase of houses, buildings, and land. A broker is a generic term for any financial intermediary. A landholder owns land. And a surveyor examines the structural condition of buildings or land boundaries. 16. I apply scientific principles to design and build machines, structural frameworks, and public works. I am an. An engineer applies scientific and mathematical principles to design and build complex structures, systems, and materials. An architect focuses heavily on building aesthetics, while a mechanic repairs existing machines rather than designing them. 17. Someone who specializes in the scientific study of plants and their classification is a. A botanist is a scientist who specifically studies plant life. A zoologist studies animals. A biologist studies all living organisms broadly. And an ecologist studies the complex relationships between organisms and their environments. 18. I install, maintain, and repair electrical wiring and equipment in homes and buildings. I am an. An electrician is a tradesperson specializing in electrical wiring of buildings and stationary machines. An electronics technician works on internal circuit boards of devices like TVs. And a linesman works on outdoor high-voltage power lines. 19. A professional who plans and directs the arrangement and functional design of interior spaces is an. An interior designer combines functional space planning with aesthetic design for indoor environments. A decorator focuses strictly on surface aesthetics like paint and furnishings without altering structural planning or safety codes. 20. Someone who makes and repairs wooden objects, furniture, and building structures is a. A carpenter is a skilled tradesperson whose primary work is the cutting, shaping, and installation of building materials, mainly wood. A lumberjack cuts down trees. A carver creates decorative art from wood, and a forester manages forests. 21. A professional who assesses and mitigates financial risks using advanced mathematics and statistics is an actuary is a business professional who deals with the measurement and management of risk and uncertainty, heavily used in insurance. An underwriter evaluates risk for issuing policies, but the actuary creates the complex mathematical models they use. 22. Physician who specializes in the diagnosis and treatment of disorders of the skin, hair, and nails is a dermatologist is a medical specialist focused on skin conditions. An endocrinologist treats hormone imbalances. A rheumatologist treats joint and autoimmune diseases. And an oncologist treats various forms of cancer. 23. A specialist who studies the origin, history, and structural evolution of words is an underscore. An etymologist studies the history and origins of words. This is a classic vocabulary distractor for entomologist, which is a scientist who studies insects. A lexicographer compiles dictionaries, and an epigrapher studies ancient inscriptions. 24. A person who draws, produces, or compiles geographical maps professionally is a cartographer is the specific professional term for a mapmaker. A geographer studies the Earth and its features broadly. A topographer studies specific surface shapes. And a surveyor measures land boundaries for legal or construction purposes. 25. Someone whose job involves the scientific analysis of physical evidence from crime scenes is a forensic scientist applies scientific methods in a laboratory to analyze physical evidence for legal investigations. A criminologist studies the sociology of crime. A detective interrogates suspects, and a pathologist specifically examines dead bodies. 26. A medical professional who is specifically trained to care for people's feet and treat foot diseases is a podiatrist is a doctor of podiatric medicine who focuses exclusively on the foot, ankle, and lower extremities. A pediatrician treats children. An orthopedist treats the broader musculoskeletal system. And a prosthetist designs artificial limbs. 27. A specialist in the scientific study, observation, and classification of birds is an ornithologist is a branch of zoology that focuses entirely on birds. A herpetologist studies amphibians and reptiles. An ichthyologist studies fish. And an apiarist is a professional beekeeper. 28. A medical professional who administers highly specific drugs to prevent pain during surgical procedures is an anesthesiologist is a physician trained in anesthesia and perioperative medicine to keep patients unconscious and pain-free safely. An immunologist studies the immune system. A neurologist treats nervous system disorders. And a radiologist interprets X-rays. 29. A professional who collects, prepares, and preserves animal skins to create lifelike mounts is a taxidermy is the specialized art of preparing, stuffing, and mounting the skins of animals for display. An embalmer chemically preserves human bodies for funerals. A conservationist protects the living environment, and a curator manages museum collections. 30. Someone who studies the structure, origin, and complex evolution of the universe as a whole is a cosmologist is an astronomer who studies the physical universe as a whole entity. An astrologer is a non-scientific practitioner who uses stars to predict the future. An astronaut travels in space, and a meteorologist studies Earth weather patterns.